And in Colombia, two human rights advocates have been arrested in what social organizations have labeled as a judicial frame-up. The events followed the arrest of another 13 social activists last week. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita now reports from Bogotá.
Social and political organization Marcha Patriótica has strongly condemned the arrest of one of its rural leaders, something they consider a retaliation for his defense of human rights, as well as his role in a nationwide campesino strike back in 2013.
We, social organizations, have the legitimate right to protest. We believe that the government is trying once again what has been a continuous state policy in Colombia, which is to set up situations in order to stigmatize communities and present results that do not exist in reality.
In what has been labeled as judicial false positives, last week President Santos presented 13 arrested social activists as responsible for 2 recent bomb attacks. But later the charges ended up being related to a student protest. Now, as social organizations were denouncing the latest arrest, they received the news that a second leader was being arrested.
But in practice,
he
does exactly the opposite. That is what he has been doing along the peace process. He speaks about measures to advance the negotiation, and right at this moment, he speaks about the de-escalation of the conflict. But really seems to be the main goal is to weaken and subjugate not just the insurgency, but also the social movement.
For Hector, a resident and leader of the war-torn Cauca state, the de-escalation of the conflict that the president has lately committed to necessarily implies that he also gives guarantees to social and rural movements.
What the government is doing is counterproductive. On the one hand, opening up the possibility for a bilateral ceasefire, but on the other, silencing these country's social movements, which for years and even centuries have been demanding real equality and real social justice. We have been struggling for a different Colombia.
Within the ongoing peace process, one of the points that have already been agreed to is the guarantees of political participation. Now, what social movements are demanding from the government is that it acts on its talk of peace in Havana and stop criminalizing social protest in Colombia. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá.